What genre of photography is right for you? If you have asked yourself this question, or if you're thinking about becoming a professional photographer or know someone who is, well, this video should help you out. What's up, friends? My name is Pi. Welcome to SLR Lounge. Let's go ahead and dive straight into this. So look, my close friends Lee and Patrick just released a new premium tutorial on Fstoppers. The tutorial is called The Well-Rounded Photographer, and what makes it interesting to me is that it doesn't just have one focus, it actually has 8. You can kind of think of this tutorial as the best of when it comes to Fstoppers education. So you're getting a good chunk of kind of all sorts of different genres, from architecture to editorial to headshots to landscapes, all of the above. So when I saw that kind of gave me the inspiration to create this tutorial, to kind of create a guide that would help y'all out when it comes to how do you choose the right genre to focus in on. Now specifically, I'm talking from a professional standpoint, because as a professional, we want to focus. This is what helps us to not only get better at the craft quicker, but also to differentiate ourselves. That's a tough decision though, because if you choose something that's not in line with who you are, not in line with your values, your personality, it's difficult to stick to. So we have this video. Now I'm recording this video kind of podcast style, so feel free to work and listen, or if you guys like and you want to look at this mug, feel free to watch the video too. Either way, no problem in it. Now, to help you with this process, I've created a 3-question guide that's going to help drop you into genres that might fit kind of who you are and your values. Before we get there, I want to start with what I think is the most fundamental tip here, and that is, don't base this decision off of simply money. The reason is too often I see photographers jump into a specific area because they see that genre commands high dollar budgets. Okay, for example, boutique weddings. My minimum packages are between $20,000 to $50,000. This is as a well-established high-end wedding photographer. When somebody looks at that, they might be enticed by those numbers. And if you're looking at other areas, let's say commercial photography. Commercial photography, I mean, 20 to 50,000 is considered like a low budget in those areas. We're talking hundreds of thousands up to millions of dollars when it comes to international commercial ad campaigns that you could be photographing. That sounds great and super enticing, but if you make your decision based on money or based on money alone, you're likely going to fall into an area that doesn't match with who you are. The thing is, if you choose an area of photography that doesn't match with your personality and values, you're not going to be able to stick with it long enough to actually command that type of dollar, right? So we need to stick around for 5 to 10 years to develop not only our skill set, but the network, the craft, the business to be able to command a high dollar value. And in honestly, any of these arenas, you can make great money so long as you can stick around. So your first kind of overall thought process needs to shift. Money needs to be kind of considered, well, money needs to be really a byproduct of what you're going to do. You're going to choose the area that fits who you are. You're going to allow the money to come when it does. And I promise you, if you get good at any of these areas, the money will come. Your routes to monetize will change and they'll be different, and your business plans will look different and whatnot, but it's there. So focus first on what you can stick with. This brings me to question number 1. Are you a team-oriented people person? Now keep in mind, you will benefit most from this process by being brutally honest with yourself. You don't have to tell anyone else, you don't have to tell me, just be honest with yourself. So here's what I mean. Areas like wedding photography or commercial photography, especially big budget and big production commercial photography, are highly team-oriented areas. You have to be a people person. You have to navigate relationships. Too often, I see wedding photographers become wedding photographers for all the wrong reasons. The reasons that I kind of listed before, which include lifestyle and money. What ends up happening is that I hear things from my peers like, I can't wait until I don't have to shoot weddings anymore. Or, man, I'm so tired of dealing with bridezillas. Or if I have to talk to another mother of the bride, or if I have to... Look, if you are saying those types of things, you have chosen a profession that is not in line with who you are. It's not in line with your value system. And that is the fundamental problem. You can't go into weddings expecting that you're not going to be dealing with people, that you're not going to be I mean, your job is to make people happy. Along the same lines, in a commercial environment, in a set environment, that is the same thing that you're going to be doing, oftentimes to a much larger scale. So if you're the director of photography, you are directing on set, you're dealing with not only the people in front of your camera, you're dealing with your crew, and you're also dealing with client-side people like creative directors. So you have to be a people person. You have to be willing to please your clients. And that is not easy. I'm going to tell you this too. Just along these lines, there are certain personalities that will lend themselves to one side or the other when it comes to just weddings and commercial work. I've actually had the opportunity to do wedding and commercial work at a pretty high level, well, at least at a decent level, enough to know that commercial work is not for me. So I actually photographed several different kind of campaigns. One was for Nissan, one was for Toyota. I've done a few of these. And when I was directing the Nissan campaign, I remember I had maybe 20 people on set, 5 of which or 6 of which were creative directors from Nissan and from the agency, okay? It was crazy. I don't know why we had that many creative directors, but these are all people that essentially have input in the product that you're creating. In addition, we already had a planning phase that kind of storyboarded out the entire process. So any creative decision was not only decided beforehand, usually by the agency, but then on set, your creative decisions also have to go through all of the creative directors or whoever is on set that is helping manage from client side. This meant that most creative decisions that I proposed actually got shut down. I mean, what is the likelihood that everybody kind of approves of that process? On top of them, I'm managing the person in front of the camera. I'm also managing the crew. This was not something that I enjoyed doing, especially because when it came to the end product, I didn't get the same level of satisfaction that I get when it comes to weddings. So on the wedding side, I'm dealing with a similar set of variables. I'm trying to make not only the bride and groom happy, I'm trying to make my parents on each side happy, the immediate families happy. I'm very much a people person. And in all of these cases, whether you're on a commercial set, whether you're a wedding photographer, oftentimes, you know, you're going to be an artist, you're going to be all those things doing the technical stuff. You're also essentially a therapist in many instances. And if you've done this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's more so dealing with kind of interpersonal relationships than it has to do with artistry half the time. So on the wedding side though, I had the same kind of crew. I had the same kind of involvement. I had the same kind of team around me. But what happened was when I'd get to the end of the day and I'd have a product, I would show my clients, I would show the bride and groom, I'd show the parents, and I received so much satisfaction in seeing their responses, their reactions to those photographs. You don't get that when you're in commercial work. I mean, when you're shooting for Nissan or Toyota, the CEO is not going to call you and be like, oh my goodness, these images were just incredible. No, you're just helping to sell a product. And yes, you make your creative director, you make the agency happy, but that's it. It's a very different thing. So I personally found meaning and purpose when it came to the team environment of weddings versus commercial work. But that being said, it all goes back to that same fundamental question, which is, are you a team-oriented people person? Okay, so if you are, then you're gonna lend yourself towards kind of these people-oriented areas, weddings, you know, portraiture, that kind of stuff. If you're not, then we're gonna talk, you're gonna kind of lend yourself more towards architecture, product, landscape, other areas that are a bit more solo. But let's save that discussion for just a moment. Number 2, question 2 is, do you thrive in high pressure situations? Okay. If the answer here is yes, then weddings or commercial type work is going to be great for you. And by commercial, by the way, I mean that it can really be a lot of different things. It can be editorial work, it can be product photography, it can be fashion and swimwear. Commercial level work is basically doing campaigns for companies. These are larger scale productions, okay? Weddings as well as commercial productions, these are high pressure environments. And when I say, do you thrive in those environments, I don't just mean do you thrive, I mean, do you actually enjoy? Do those environments make you better at what you do? Because that's what's critical there. You have to not only be able to rise to the challenge, you have to actually enjoy the process. I'm gonna tell you a story on this side, because when it comes to the wedding photography side, really, there are no do-overs. The wedding day comes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event for your clients. They're paying a lot of money, especially when you start working into high-end weddings. You're getting paid a lot of money. The entire event costs a lot of money. There are no redos. So that means rain or shine. That means whether you're feeling sick or whether you're feeling great, it doesn't matter. You have to deliver on the day that you are contracted. Now, I'm going to tell you a personal story. For a significant portion of time, almost 2-3 years, I was going through a divorce while photographing weddings. And I remember at the beginning of that process, basically when it all went down, I called up my business partner, Justin, who's also my best friend, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can do this. I don't even believe in this crap anymore. Like, I was having a full-on wedding singer / wedding crasher moment where I was like, Justin, if I go to this wedding, I'm going to stand up when they say, does anyone oppose? And I'm going to be the one that's like, and he goes, no, you're not going to do any of that because you're a professional. You're the one that always thrives in these high-pressure environments, and you're not going to do that. You're going to table your own emotions, the own stuff that you have going on in your personal life, and you're going to go and deliver. Now, long story short, I did just that. I went into the wedding, put my own feelings, my own emotions aside. I photographed the day. In fact, I actually ended up with some of my best photographs ever from that wedding. But I remember walking away and thinking, when it comes to this job, no matter what is going on in your personal life, no matter what you're dealing with from a health standpoint, no matter what, I have to deliver. So that's what I mean about high pressure. And the same goes when it comes to a large-scale commercial production. I mean, you don't have the room to say, you know what, let's just do this again in a week from now. Let's get everyone back together. Let's get all the crew. Let's do it all. It's not possible. So those are the types of environments that not only you have to thrive within, you have to actually appreciate and say, you know, these are my best types of experiences. This is when I'm at my best, is in these high pressure moments. If you say no to that question, I do not enjoy high pressure environments, I don't thrive in those environments, then I'm going to tell you to shift your mentality towards smaller production shoots. So it's not that you can't do product work, it's not that you can't do editorial work or even portrait work, but I'm saying to scale down the production. Maybe you're doing fine art portraiture for one person or a small family or just a family in your studio. Maybe you're doing senior portraits. Maybe you're going to do headshots. Maybe you're doing product work, but it's, you know, clients that send you the products and you're working on small sets with small crews. I'm saying if you don't thrive in that kind of environment, don't put yourself there. Don't create this environment where there's huge budgets, large teams, if you're not going to enjoy it. All right, so last and final question. Question 3 is, are you a more technical photographer or a more intuitive photographer? Now, if you answered yes to I am strongly a people person and I love team environments, chances are that you're probably a more intuitive shooter. And if you answered no to that question, then chances are that you're probably a more technical shooter. You appreciate kind of being alone and being more in the craft. Now, by no means is this to say that you can't be both or you can't be a people person and be technical. Please don't assume too much from this. What I'm saying is that there's certain genres of photography that very much lend themselves to the technical shooter. For example, product photography is one of those. Let's say, for example, you want to take a picture of this lens. It seems simple and all, but this one single lens has so many freaking surfaces on it. And when you get this into the studio and you want to do product work shooting this, you're going to sit for hours designing the perfect lighting setup. You're going to have the perfect lights. You're going to have perfect modifiers. You're going to sit here and move flags around, move everything around. You're going to make these small, nuanced technical details, looking at a screen, making sure that everything is just right. Then you're going to spend that much more time in post perfecting the image even further, or you'll have a retoucher do it for you. Either way, areas like product photography, food photography, anything still life, architectural photography, even landscape photography, these areas all tend to be very technical. You're going to be working through nuances. You're going to be oftentimes doing the work alone versus other areas that are more intuitive. And those are usually going to be areas like, say, photographing people, portraiture, weddings, that type of stuff. That said, you can be on both sides of this spectrum, but it's helpful just to kind of know where you might sit. So let's go back, and what I want to focus in on is question 1 and question 2. Let's summarize. So if you answered yes to question 1, you're a people person in a team-oriented people person, and you answered yes to question 2, that you thrive in, well, stressful or high-pressure environments, then I would say that wedding photography or commercial photography, and what I mean is commercial productions, would be a good fit for you. Go back to kind of what I shared in terms of like meaning to figure out which one of these might be of more meaning to you. That said, I want you guys to try all this stuff, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But if you answered yes to both those questions, I would say that you're suited for these sort of high risk / high reward areas of photography that are high-end wedding photography and commercial photography, whether you're on the editorial side, the product side, whatever, you're doing commercial productions. Okay, so let's say that you answered no to question 1, that you're not a team-oriented people person, but you do thrive in high-pressure environments, and let's say that you're maybe more of a technical person. I would still say that commercial productions in the space of, say, product photography, architectural photography would be a good fit for you. In any area of professional photography, there is some level of kind of service, right? You're maybe not serving the number of people that you would on a wedding or let's say a commercial set, but you are dealing with a client. So you do have client service there. But in areas like architecture, usually you just have one client. My friend, for example, Mike Kelly is a great example of this. He usually deals with one client at a time. The client says, go photograph this house. And once he's there, well, his job is just to do his job. Now he has a very technical job. It's pretty high pressure. I mean, you have good budgets. He's got pretty high expectations for what he needs to do, but the work that he's doing doesn't require involvement with a team and a crew beyond maybe one person, maybe 2 tops. So it's fairly minimal on that side. And I would say product photography can kind of mirror this, you know, architectural photography can mirror this, travel photography, landscape photography, those all kind of mirror that, where you could be dealing with one client, one person, and kind of go and be working primarily by yourself or maybe with a small team. So even if you're not a team-oriented person, even if you're not like that people person, these are still areas that you can thrive in. That said, I would avoid things like wedding photography or being on large commercial sets. Okay, so what if you said no to question 1? You're not a people person, and no to question 2, that you really don't thrive in high pressure environments, right? There is still a wonderful space for you. I actually have quite a few product photography friends who do all their work in their home. They are, again, technical, right? I've done product photography. It drives me bonkers. I can't stand sitting around just trying to get one photograph. I've also tried landscape photography. My friend, Matthew Seville, you guys know Matt, he's part of our team. He's also part of SRR Lounge. He is through and through a landscape photographer. He will go to these locations and try to shoot them. If he can't get the right weather, he will come back. If he can't get the right light, he'll sit there for hours. That's not me. That doesn't fit my ADHD personality of wanting to get the shot and be done, and I don't want to make the same trek and the hike out to get the same type of shot. So if you are highly technical and you don't necessarily want to be in this team environment, you also don't really want to do high pressure environments, product photography is still a great choice. You can have companies send you products, and my friends will actually photograph them in their home on their own timetable. I have a food photographer friend that does this exact thing. I also have landscape photography friends where their client will just send them to a location and they're on their own doing their job. They're told what the images are for, and that's it. Now, I hope this framework has helped you kind of better understand yourself and which areas of photography might be a good fit. Well, I want you guys to remember, think longevity. The money is going to come so long as you can stick around long enough to differentiate the quality of your work and to build up this business. If you can stick with it, money will come as the byproduct. Now, what I would say if you're just starting out is try it all. Try it all. You're going to quickly know which of these areas kind of fits your personality by simply knowing what are your complaints. When you did those types of shoots, do you find yourself complaining about dealing with the people? Do you find yourself disliking the technical process, not wanting to sit by yourself and work with, just still life products? You'll know quickly which of these is a good fit versus which isn't. And what I would say as well is the Well-Rounded Photographer, that premium tutorial by the Fstoppers, which we will link up below, is going to be a great place for you to start. I honestly wish a tutorial like this was around when I first jumped into the industry, because what you really need when you first jump in is the knowledge, enough knowledge in each of these little areas to deliver a good product. Then you need to throw yourself into it, go try it and see what sticks. So I'd highly recommend the tutorial. It's a fantastic tutorial. I've checked it out. Matches what you'd expect from an Fstoppers piece of premium education. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.